Now we are going to talk about Virat Kohli. It was in the year 2008 when the world was first introduced to Virat Kohli as the captain of the Indian under-19 cricket team. Virat led India to a famous T20 World Cup win as well. Let's look at Virat Kohli's journey till now.
Born in Uttamnagar in 1988, Virat Kohli showed his interest in cricket from the age of 3 when he took his father to the park to play the sport. Virat Kohli joined the West Delhi Cricket Academy where he met his coach and guru Rajkumar Sharma. Virat once scored 250 runs in a state match. His close friend Shailad says he joined Virat when the young star was on 190 and Virat told him to just stand while he does the heavy lifting. This is a scrapbook shared by Shailad where Virat clearly states he wants to be a cricketer. It was in 2008 when the world was first introduced to the magic of Virat Kohli as the captain of the Indian under-19 cricket team.
Virat Kohli, captain, right-hand middle-order batsman, right-arm quick bowler, and my favourite cricketer is Herschel Gibb.
Virat led India to a famous T20 World Cup win. 18th August 2008, this is when Virat first donned the Indian team jersey. He scored a mere 12 runs but was made to fill into the shoes of Sachin Tendulkar and Virendra Sehwag who were injured. One year and 3 months after his debut, Virat scored his first ODI century in a successful chase versus Sri Lanka as the king of chases announced his arrival to the world. Here is the story of a man who since that day has been the heart of Indian batting. Bureau Report, NewsX.
All right, Virat Kohli has had a roller coaster ride ever since he came into the Indian team. He was a junior player in 2011 and who knew that the kind of skill which was appreciated by Sachin Tendulkar and the likes of V.V.S. Lakshman, even Shane Warne at that point in time, who pointed him out on several occasions that he is going to be the star of the future, would actually turn out to be a prophecy that came true. Sunil, Virat Kohli, he's considered to be one of the best now. There were lean patches in his career. Some of them just transpired very, very recently. But he is someone who's never given up. And his attitude has always been consistent with the attitude of his game. And his attitude, per se, Sunil, was the one thing that he's been criticized the most. He's considered arrogant. He's considered disrespectful. But he's not shunned that away. He's not shied away from being that because that is what got him all the success.
Absolutely. You just said the right thing. You must realize in circumstantial thing, how he came. He had to fight for everything, whether it was getting into under 15. I'll give you a small little story. He went for an under 15 selection trial. The selectors didn't select him. Of course, I know 2 of them played Ranji and at very senior level at the DDC at that point of time, they didn't select him. They said because he's too young. So what he did, he was crying and Bishan Bedi asked Rajkumar Sharma what happened, and this has come straight from the horse's mouth. What happened? Why is Virat Kohli crying? He says because he's good but he's
not
too
that
young.
good, or too young.
Too young. So what happens? They go next year. He goes back next year. Guess what? He's not only selected. Then what he had to do? He had to prove a point. He goes out there at 15. He scores 2 double centuries for Delhi at that season. And guess what? The guy sitting on my left, the amazing umpire.
Mr. Anil Chaudhary, yes.
Mr. Anil Chaudhary. He actually
Mr. Chaudhary, you have some anecdotes to share with him, right? Go ahead, please.
The 15-year-old
Stage is
Virat
yours.
Kohli. Let's talk about Virat. Celebrate him.
A lot of memories, lot of good memories. He was very young. He was a quick runner between wicket, which I noticed in one club game. And naughty, but very active. I think the way he's batting nowadays, it started that time. He used to play always very good flick. And you could make out that time that yes, he is different. And those days also, he had a habit of scoring big. It's not
Yes.
100. He used to score 160, 170, even in local tournaments. It's not only 100, it's 170, 180, 200, like Viru used to do. Because once they score 100, big 100, not just 101 and 102.
So the point he's
different
trying to
talent.
make here is that he always had
It was
whatever people I
intrinsic.
know.
It was the intrinsic attitude that stayed with him.
Absolutely. And the second thing is he was never short of a remark, a quote, or a sarcastic note, or a little bit of sledging, because that's it. That's how he is. I mean, he's a Dilli wala at the end of it. What do you know?
And David, this pretty much reminds me of what Mr. Chaudhary shared of what happened with Michael Jordan as well. He did go and volunteer to play for North Carolina, but he was rejected for not being good enough and ended up becoming the greatest player of all time. Perhaps rejection at an early age does motivate you to get this far.
I'm not surprised to hear he's been through some challenges. You can tell that with the intensity with which he plays the game. But I have to say, I find it very refreshing. Because in an era where so many players you feel are going through the motions when they take the field, waiting for the next franchise league to start, here is someone in Virat Kohli who playing for his country really means something. Playing international cricket really means something. And I agree with what Roland said. When he was captain, he virtually single-handedly dragged that team back into a winning position. He certainly single-handedly revitalised interest in Test cricket and long-form cricket in India. In that phase we were going through, where everyone was just sort of obsessed with gorging on T20 because it was new and exciting. But Virat has never lost sight of the fact what it means to play for your country. I think he's been an inspirational figure, even without batting stats. Yes, he's had a couple of lean patches that you referred to earlier. But, one of those was when he lost the captaincy. And to put it in biblical terms, to me that was like Samson losing his hair. He lost his strength. He lost his strength in the process. No longer in the captain's suite, had to go to a normal hotel room like the rest. What that must have been like.
That's a great analogy.
But I think
Better than the Debenhams.
to come through that. And I love the intensity. Even today, he's whipping up the crowd. I love the intensity with which he plays. It matters to him. Because if it doesn't matter to the players, then why should it matter to any fans watching? And with Virat Kohli, you always know it matters. And that, to me, is his greatest asset. Quite apart from his wonderful batting, and we've seen in the statistics that he's even surpassed the great Sachin Tendulkar now.
Exactly, yeah. And Mr. Butcher, that was going to be my next question as well. How difficult is it for a player like Virat Kohli, to perform and not perish under the shadow of somebody like Sachin Tendulkar?
What I can say first and foremost, and I would say this humbly, that for me, Virat Kohli is a one in a generation batsman, role model, captain. I can't say any more about what he's achieved. Against the backdrop of coming to take over from someone like Sachin Tendulkar, you can just imagine the weight and pressure on his young shoulders. Has he shirked away from it? Definitely not. He's taken on the challenge and he's improved upon that. And there's no question that when the history of Indian cricket is written, I think very much at the top, in all those areas that I spoke about, you'll find the name Virat Kohli. I don't think he's finished yet because he still has the hunger, to continue. And he's a dream really for any team to have. If to have somebody like that, especially now with his experience as well, India should really try to hang on to Virat Kohli as long as they can. When he finishes, the question that I'm going to really want to be answered is, will he be a great coach? That's something we'll have to see in the future, whether he wants to be a coach or not, whether he becomes a great coach or not.
Mr. Blake, your impression of Virat Kohli? He's 35, but there are no signs of him stopping at this age. A number of Australians have retired at 34, 35, and here he is still going on strong. We've just seen his performance in the last match and how fit he is.
Yeah, and someone like Graham Gooch played his best cricket between the age of 35 and 40, I imagine. There's no reason why Kohli, if he has the hunger, can't go on. And I didn't think when I saw Sachin Tendulkar in 1990 scoring his first 100, and then 10 years later what Sachin had done, I never thought that there'd be someone challenging Tendulkar so soon after the Little Master. And he's done it, and he's now on top, and he's right up there in the pantheon. If you wanted one player from the Indian team to be in your own team, it would probably be Kohli. I did call yesterday, but I wanted Bumrah to show up. I've still got a vague hope that he might come back and get a hat-trick and get India back into this match.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.